Hello, this is Mr. Mobyjohn. How's everybody? How are my students, my boys and girls doing? I hope they're doing well, self-isolating. I hope they're wearing their masks when they go out, and I hope they keeping their social distance when they're outside. Remember, how many feet apart? 6 feet apart. Okay? Hopefully we get over this. But it's going to take some time. And remember, unfortunately, we have no school this year. And we may start up in the fall, but things are going to be totally different in the school when it starts up in September. Unfortunately, things have to change, and this crisis may go on for more than 2 years. But in the meantime, guess what season it is? It is spring. And as a tribute to spring, we're going to go on a virtual field trip. Virtual means we're going outside, and I'm going to do some spring identification of flowers. Okay? That's flowering trees and flowering shrubs and flowering perennials. Okay? So we're going to look at our first flowering plant. So my producer is going to follow me around, Nikia Mobyjohn, and she's going to film me showing you our flowers. Okay? First flower is the magnolia tree. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a magnolia looks like. This is a saucer magnolia. As you can see, the saucer magnolia is got red petals, okay, and it's got its stamen and its male and female organs. You could identify the magnolia. You can step back. You can look at all the flowers on the shrub. Again, this is a magnolia. Okay, it's called a Magnolia solanagia. Solanagia. It's one of the oldest types of trees. It was around when the dinosaurs were on the earth. And this is a tree that flowers around this time of the year. Remember what time it is? It's May. It probably flowered for you a lot earlier, but remember, we're in the Catskills and we're at a higher elevation. The elevation's about 800 feet here. So 800 feet above sea level. That's what that means. And again, here's the magnolia. Flowers every year. As you can see, some brown spots in the magnolia. It was a very cold spring, and we had a couple of frosts that came in. Okay? We had a couple of freezes, and what happens is this magnolia flowers early, and unfortunately it flowered too early, and it froze. Some of the flowers froze. But most of them are coming in well, and we'll just see how well it does later. Now we're going to visit our next flower, and our next flower is this flower. So my producer is coming up close. That is called the daffodil. The daffodil has yellow flowers. Okay? So here we have another daffodil, and it's got sword-like leaves. And you probably see them around the Poughkeepsie area. And it comes up every year. Again, it's called a daffodil. So let's visit our next tree. You can shut off now until we go over there.
What?
Hello. Hi, this is Mr. Mobyjohn again, and we are looking at another spring flowering plant. It comes up around April, as early as March, but it starts in April and it can last for a month. This is called the forsythia. That's Forsythia. And as you can see, the forsythia has yellow petals. Thousands and thousands of yellow flowers. It heralds spring. What do I mean by heralding? It announces spring. So one of the first bushes to flower in the spring. As you can see, it is a shrub, and a shrub is not a tree, but it's definitely woody. It's got woody branches, but it doesn't grow more than 6 feet tall, 6 or 8 feet tall. Never grows above 8 or 10 feet. That's what a tree is defined as. It grows beyond 8 or 10 feet, becomes a tree. But this is a shrub, okay? It's got many branches. And again, the forsythia is yellow, and it comes up in the spring. We're going to visit another flower now. Hello. This other tree is called a weeping cherry. This is called a weeping cherry. As you can see, the weeping cherry has purple blooms, thousands of blooms all along the branches, and it's called weeping because if you could look at the branches carefully, they droop. They are drooping towards the earth. So they're kind of defying gravity in a way, because instead of growing up towards the sun, they are growing down. And how did this happen? Well, it is called a mutation. It's a mutation. It's not something that's favored, because in the competitive world of trees, this would soon be eliminated in the natural environment. But in the artificial human environment, you take care of this tree and you make sure there are no other shrubs around it, and that's how this tree is able to survive. If you look closely, you'll see the branch here. It's a graft. What is a graft? A graft is when a smaller branch is cut into a larger branch. Why do they do this? So they can have its weeping habit. So below this cut, below this graft here, is the wild form of the cherry, and above it is the weeping part of the cherry. That is called, again, a graft. They grafted that, and they do that many times with their weeping cherries. Okay? This plant is also a perennial. Comes up every year. It's very fragrant smelling, and you see it in the florist shops in the spring. If you look very closely, it looks like a daffodil, but it's actually not. It is called a hyacinth. That is Hyacinth. Many colors the hyacinth has. Okay, and it only grows about less than a foot tall, as you can see. Okay, so again, that is called the hyacinth. Okay, boys and girls, can you tell me what this shrub is called? It gets to be a tree after many years, but this has purplish flowers, and if you might recognize it because you've seen it before, except it had a slightly different color. If you said it was a magnolia, you're right. This again is another variation of a magnolia. I believe it's called Magnolia Jane. Okay, so again, it's another type of magnolia. It's in the magnolia family, and again, the flowers appear before the leaves. Okay, you should know what these are. If you said these were tulips, you are right. These are very common. You see them in the Poughkeepsie area. They come in many, many different colors. These are yellow with orange petals. So again, these are called tulips. Again, as I said, this is another color of a tulip. Again, tulips come in many, many different colors. So this tulip is red. It's got red petals. Okay, who could tell me what these flowers are called? They come up in the early spring again, and they grow abundantly. They are perennials because they can be overwintered in a greenhouse. Okay, these are called pansies. So you've heard the word pansy before. These are pansies. Look at all the different colors that pansies come in. We have white, purple, yellow, and many different colors. Okay, so again, they come up early spring. Okay, boys and girls, do you know what kind of tree this might be called? If you said cherry, you were right. This is actually an upright cherry. It's not weeping. This is called a Yoshino cherry. You'll see thousands of these trees in Washington D.C. along the mall, by Lincoln Memorial, by the great pool. That's where they have thousands of these types of trees. So this is a Japanese cherry, also called a Yoshino cherry. Okay, this type of shrub, it flowers early. As you can see, it's not very tall, but it does produce a lot of flowers. This is called the shadblow. That's Shadblow. And it has white flowers. It gets a lot taller than this, but this is it's small now, but it flowers very early. Hello, boys and girls. This fine specimen is called the grape hyacinth. Grape, why do they call it the grape hyacinth? Because these flowers look like bunches of grapes, hence the term grape. And hyacinth because it's in the hyacinth family. Okay. Our last but not least shrub, if you look closely, again, thousands of flowers, and you can see all the insects going towards them because they are giving off a very fragrant smell. This is from China. It's called the Andromeda. And it is a shrub. It flowers every year. And it produces thousands of white flowers. Well, boys and girls, that concludes our spring virtual identification of flowering trees and flowering shrubs and flowering perennials. Next week, we'll continue our video and I'll show you more spring flowers, because spring is a long period where we see dozens of trees and perennials start to produce flowers. Okay? By the way, if you didn't know, flowering plants are called, the scientific name for a flowering plant is angiosperm. Angiospem. So those are the, we call that subkingdom of plants, the flowering plants, angiosperms. Well, we'll see you again another day. Take care, guys. And remember, everybody self-isolate and keep your distance. And remember to wear your masks. Goodbye, guys.